Hey guys, it's Will. So we're here in Argentina, and I just could see the defense building for Argentina just around this one on the Buenos Aires side is actually very nice as well. Look at that. You can see the whole city. Very nice. It's a little bit on the rainy side, but it's still pretty cool. So I'm up in a skyscraper, and I haven't really felt that grounded while I'm here as compared to when I'm in California and the Sierra Nevadas and the mountains, But you got the Oracle building across this port, so it's a little more motivating, I guess. You got the tech company there, and then you got that bridge over there, and all the rain today is kind of up here, so I feel a little more connected to the earth because it's kind of coming up into the sky. But yeah, so it's been a nice. The ocean's right there, port is right here. It's been a beautiful trip, but we're going to be going back to the mountains in California soon. Defense market is what we're talking about today. So let's jump into it. I'm going to, as you can kind of see, this is our setup here. We have this setup of all of the different things we're working on in Prophecy AI, our startup here. And I'm working here with Tomas.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Tomas is our junior developer. He works with us. And then this is the setup here for the last couple of weeks. It's quite nice. There's bedroom there. There's 2 bedrooms so that we can have the team here. And we're going to get right into it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. So BigBear.AI jumped 11% yesterday, up to new levels that we haven't seen in just a little bit. You could see they jumped back to about $6.30 yesterday after pulling down to as low as around 550, 541 was the level. So we were watching this level into Thursday, and then Friday we saw that big recovery. We were there at Market Open in our live session in Stockmate. We were monitoring the markets. We got some nice moves took place over on APLD. TSSI was one of the trades. They had a nice recovery of around 6% in the data center market. And in the defense market, we saw a lot of green with also Lunar, LUNR stock jumping like 40% on Friday yesterday, which was tremendous. And if you ever want to tune on into our daily live trading sessions in Stockmate, it's the second link in the description below to tune on in at Market Open. Would love to see you there. Let's get into it. So again, the support level around $6 a share, you got this level that it's been holding and continually pushing up above that 200-day moving average. It was around this time last year, or back in November of last year, where the company was just around $1 a share. They surged back up into that $10 range and held this very consistent uptrend, and then recently pulled back down into this $5 range. So the defense market has definitely seen a lot of growth. Why is that? You got a lot more focus on less about the military, the tanks, or the missiles, or all the things that go into the actual weapons, and more like, what is the weapon of the modern day, or what is the defense of the modern day, and what are people looking at? It's the software a lot. It's the AI. And so with this company, BigBear.AI, they definitely are in that software side of things, slightly less attuned to military type stuff, but more related to travel. And I'm looking out at the ports right now here in Argentina and Puerto Madero. They have a lot of ships that go in and out, and I could tell you that there is a massive port over in Panama, and the US was losing some control there, and BigBear.AI has been reestablishing that control over there with the surveillance of the Panama Canal, but also the travel and trade and the veriScan technology they've deployed is why they've gone from $1 a share to now $6 a share a year later, and why they potentially, and why our targets have them up here around $7 a share to as high as $10 a share. The $10 gain would be about an 80% gain from here. And in that move, there's a few reasons that the market's seeing more spending. Number one, they have a CEO that was previously the acting Secretary of U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which is a large government body that is specialized in, obviously, the security of the U.S. And then you have the Commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. He was also the commissioner. This is Kevin McAleenan. And that's going to be, obviously, the border protection, where people come in and out of the U.S. And through different ports, different airlines or airports, things like that. That's where they focus. Now, this company has that type of focus. You could see that they have some recent announcements related to strategic surveillance in the Panama Canal, as we mentioned, but also they recently acquired an AI company called Ask Sage. Now, we know that they're getting a lot of data already. The data that they're getting is very, very volume centric. Maybe, they're also obviously looking at the quality, but they have this veriScan technology where they scan the faces. They're getting millions of data points from persons that are passengers of airlines that go in through the airports to travel to different countries or come in from different countries. And they essentially monitor all of those things, as you can tell here, with the veriScan technology. Now, we've seen them in Denver International Airport. We've seen them in Chicago. We've seen them in LAX. We know they're in many other airports, including JFK, and they've gone international with Heathrow Airport and now in the UAE. And they have this technology that gives them a lot of data. So with this recent move that they made, if we kind of go into their focus, they recently acquired a company called Ask Sage that is a large language model company that has been building large language model solutions for US government. So you can see secure generative AI. They work with government agencies, Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense, and they have existing contracts. You can see who we serve here: Department of War, Federal Civilian, Defense Industrial Base, Commercial Enterprise. And not only that, they have authorized for FedRAMP High, IL5, IL6, and top secret use, which indicates they have the type of security to allow large governments to use it without exposing them to threats of third-party access to that information. So they work with NASA, they work with Base Systems, they work with Mobius, they work with the US Army. And essentially what happened, Airbus there, is BigBear.AI paid about $250 million to buy this company. They're only making about $25 million a year, which is not bad for a newly developed SaaS here. But nevertheless, they paid about 10x for the company. So Ask Sage works with the government. And now what you would imagine that BigBear is going to be doing, as we see them potentially hold this level and they're targeting more growth up into this, $8 to $10 range, is how is it going to impact the financials? They're most likely going to pair Ask Sage. This is more speculative now. It's getting out of the facts. But how are they going to use it? They're probably going to apply that Ask Sage into current contracts or work to get new contracts with the US Army maybe, or Department of Defense, or maybe even use all the millions of data points they're getting from the people coming in and out of the US to essentially use it as reference data for the AI Ask Sage to build valuable tools for security, defense, monitoring, probably in the technology space and the AI use space for agentic AI and things like that for the US government. So it sounds really good. It sounds like they're on the right track in today's market. How are they doing financially? Well, the income statements have been flat for the most part on revenue. They did cut their net income narrow into this last quarter with a positive net income and a net profit margin that went positive. They haven't seen that before. Then one of the things they did is the balance sheet. When you look down here on the balance sheet, you could see that not only have they increased their cash by about 794%, their assets have surged much greater than their liabilities. Assets are up to nearly $1 billion. Liabilities are down to $309 million. What does this mean? Well, if you look at the current market cap, just 2.7 billion, the current valuations, if they hold around $1 billion in cash, they continue to ramp up, and they could be potentially in that level of revenue of, let's say, 50 to 100 million a quarter. And the partnerships with Palantir and some of the other partnerships they have, Redwire, work out for their advantage. then it's possible that they could be targeting up into this 3 to 5 billion market cap. They could continue to roll in contracts. So let's see, again, the financials right now, market cap still up there. They did just recover, but that the balance sheet continues to position them as a company that could be worth more than just 2.7 billion, but more. If they got $1 billion in cash, let's say they get up to 1.5 to 2 billion, they're probably looking more like a $5 billion to $10 billion company, which at that case, they're around a $10 to $25 share company. And so again, taking a lot of patience. There's this surge in uptrends when it comes to the news. Things look good. When it comes to their recent financials, things look much better, but their revenue's still low. But you do see their assets go up. And then when it comes to the technicals, so the market looks good, but the technicals, they recently pulled down and they had some bearish momentum, but found some consolidation and support levels. So they went from left to right here around 550. You can see an overall trend up over the last year. So while it's been volatile between these levels, they've oftentimes bounced around this 200-day moving average. This green line that is the 200-day moving average oftentimes will act as a support. And in a bullish environment, that's what we see. In a bearish environment, you're going to see that moving average, for example, the EMA, that blue line, act as a resistance. Currently, they're still holding below that EMA, just kind of pushed up actually yesterday. And if they can kind of hold above this $6 price point, then they're now reversing bullish, getting back up into that EMA. And you'll probably see something similar to what we've seen in the past when they make these runs back up into these $7 to $9 to $10 ranges, or maybe even more. So currently, nearest target for them, if we look at it, according to what I see, at least, let's take a look at the near term. Long term, I hold them. I've been holding them since $2.80 a share last year. We continue to hold them. Short term, we may be looking for a trade. Again, this is what we're going to look for, that they hold above this $6 price point. And we're going to look for more of this type of breakout here into this resistance around $7 a share. So you got a $7 resistance currently. You can see that here. And that's where we want to watch closely as they could potentially surge further. So that would be about a 12% increase. All right, up to that $7 price point, about 12% increase. Can they hold? They may pull down at market open around that $6 price point once again, but want to see that they hold that level and continue up so that we could get that swing there. They break back above here, then they're looking very good on the longer term, a medium term, to make that run into that $7 to $9 to $10 range. But currently, they got a $6 support they're holding above, and they got a nearest target around $7 a share to be watching closely. So that's a 10 to 15% margin for profit with a little bit of risk, with that pullback down to $6 could be possible. And let's see how Prophecy AI is shaping up with this. So Prophecy AI is an AI tool that does all the analysis that I normally do. It does the technical analysis, the market analysis, the fundamentals, the news. It looks at the current levels. And so we could go ahead and search up any model. So you could do Grok, OpenAI, Claude, Gemini. And you can actually search into an analysis. So we're going to start BigBear.AI here. And let's see what we got here. So as you can see, the nearest support, according to Prophecy AI, it is doing the technicals right. As I mentioned, we've made it very smart on the shorter term timeframes. It does the analysis technically and fundamentally to fit the shorter term time frame. You're going to look at the analysis differently in a shorter term time frame than you would if you're looking at the next year, next 5 years. And in that instance, you can see the nearest support level is at $6 a share. $6 a share. Okay. So with the $6 a share here, support level, that's what we see. Nearest resistance, 635. Okay, so that's right around where we're at. So they're even a little closer on the resistance than I was. I was saying 650 or 7. It says that 635 is the level, but there could be a 650 above that as well. Okay, so it does see that. In the near term, over the next day, looking green into maybe Monday, maybe a little bit of a pullback, as we mentioned. That's kind of anticipated here according to Prophecy. And out of all the time frames into the next year, at least from BigBear.AI, it's a 7 $1.80 range. So a 25% analysis here. When we're looking at all the models at once, it could be worth it to look at this. So, we're still in beta here, but I really like to be able to look at OpenAI, Grok, Gemini, Claude, and these are the best models in the world that are available. And we use the pro versions. So we'll use, the latest and best AI that's available from these models. And as you can see, it's kind of loading up, it's going through its motions, and we're getting all the different time frames here from all the different models at once. So I'd like to see what all the models think about the next 3 months, about the next 6 months, and let's see what things look like into 2026. Into this next month here, OpenAI is up 7% projection. Grok is 7.5%. Looks like a lot of them are kind of anticipating that trend that we're in, holding above the 650 or getting above 650 and into that $7 range. Gemini has identified a little bit more of a resistance around 650 and saying it may struggle, which again, that would put its time horizon further out. According to Gemini, it would be positive 3 months, but it would take some time in the next month. Claude is bullish. Okay, so on average, most models, except for Gemini, are anticipating that the projection here on average is going to be up about 7% into this next month. Okay, so that's pretty bullish. We have seen some bearish outlooks as well, like into, I think it was the next day or so was more on the conservative side, and then on the 6 months so, or on the 3 months, you had some negative into the 6 months and into the next year, anticipating more government spending, more contracts, more growth as a result. So again, that's kind of how we use Prophecy AI. And when it comes to what we're going to be looking for when the market opens, we want to definitely be watching that $6 level. Why it's so important is because this trend has been very consistent uptrend. So we want to see that it holds that trend, because if it does, then we're looking at more validation, more of this AI market. Great earnings came out this week. So Micron Technology came out with earnings and really crushed it. And so that indicates more growth in the AI market, and institutions are looking to buy back in. You see that on Friday. We'll see how it goes into Monday. But again, you got that support level. Watch the support level, because it's definitely still holding, but we want to just verify and make sure we are continuing that uptrend that we'd like to see. Risk to reward looks fairly good at this level. And how we're going to do this at Market Open, if you want to see how we invest in AI companies, space tech, defense, quantum, all that good stuff. We've had some triple digit returns this past year as a result of following some of these companies and investing in them. And if you want to stay up to date, join our live sessions, get access to all the tools and the daily live trading, along with the targets for the week and the community and everything else. It's going to be the second link in the description. There's a holiday sale there. It's not getting any better than this holiday sale that's there. So make sure to go get it before it goes away here very soon. And I want you to enjoy this 2026 on track. Get things on track with your investing in the second link below in StockMate. Would love to see you there at Market Open. Again, lifetime access Monday through Friday. It's going to be the second link below. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.